brand turned sugar into the world's favorite drug. This is Church of Coke. No, I'm not literally making a sermon. I'm just trying to look behind this veil of loyalty, ritual, and myth. Don't worry, I'm not like preaching on a Coke altar like the one famous in Mexico, okay? This is Coca-Cola, the smile monopoly. Because when you open a Coke, you're not actually just tasting sweetness, you know, right? You're sipping a century of American ideology. And we all know that they're probably the most lovable villain in marketing history. Who wouldn't want that title? So let's go back to 1886. Imagine US Atlanta, okay? There's this uncle. His name is called Dr. John Pemberton. He's like 54 years old. He's a pharmacist and also a Civil War veteran. So he stirs coca leaf tonic in a brass kettle. Ding, ding, ding. He makes like this caramel syrup in this fizzy water. He thinks he's making medicine. His goal is actually to cure headaches, okay? But the public think it's actually making magic potion, you know, because it causes everybody to have addiction. Like we know, right? Sugar triggers dopamine release in the brain kind of thing. From the start, Coke wasn't actually a drink. It was an escape. This tiny glass of fizz feel like happiness and hope that you can swallow. But here's the twist, right? This Pemberton person actually never saw Coca-Cola real empire, actually. He died like 2 years later because he's broke and in pain of morphine addiction. The Coke we know today, right? That was actually this person called Asa Candler's doing. The man who brought this formula and scaled the business and turned a local pharmacy trade into this global, huge, powerful and overwhelming force. Coke's first stroke of genius was linking this physical heat that burned that fizz with an emotional relief, reward, and pause. You can't own taste forever, but you can own the moment people reach for it. So last time, during 1920s, there's this whole prohibition era where alcohol is banned. You're not able to sell. No more whiskey, no more beer. Then people get lost, right? People don't know where to go, where to gather, where to drink. Then that's where Coca-Cola quietly stepped in. Because they don't know where to drink alcohol already. People go and find alternative social spots. There's this thing called social fountain back then. They're actually held inside the drugstores. And it became like the new hangouts place for them. Because that's the only place where you're able to find bubbles instead of beers. And Coke straight away become like the legal pick-me-up. Because it still feels like treat ma. You don't need to hide. By the time, the cash register ring up to 2.4 billion. Back then, 2.4 billion is huge, you know. And why Coke win? Because they appear at the right time, the right space. When culture has a void, they slide in. And the ritual replacement, people used to raise glass for whiskey. Now, people raise glass for Coke. This becomes a habit. Then, World War II happened. Coke's CEO promised every US soldier anywhere on earth a Coke for 5 cents. Sounds generous, right? But it's one of the most brilliant distribution play in history if you realize. Bottling plants set up in war zones, soldiers drink Cokes in middle of battle. When they come home, they're already hooked. So they bring it to countries they pass through. From a branding perspective, this is not just a brand recall, okay? It's like a brand imprinting, putting like your flavors in someone's deepest, most emotional memories. In Cold War, Coke isn't just like a soda, it's like a symbol of freedom. In some places, your first sip of Coke is your first taste of the West. Either way, the red can is now a passport to globalization. 1931, Great Depression, people are broke, tired, anxious, and out of jobs, causing friction in families. And so what happened? Coke commissioned this artist called Haddon Samblo, and very bad names. He's an American artist that's Swedish-Finnish descent, okay? He's been commissioned to paint Santa Claus. You know, back then Santa Claus is looking like some skinny bishop, tall teen figure, look like some spooky elves that's appearing very scary. He re-illustrated it to be very happy, red suit, exact jolly fella that you see in malls today. White beard, rosy cheek, laughing. That's Santa Claus we all know. Coke didn't just join Christmas. They rewrote it. The one solid branding masterclass, cultural ownership. The way you imagine Santa today, the warm, approachable, ho-ho-ho uncle vibe, all thanks to Coke. From media to malls, the whole image copy-paste everywhere until it becomes standardized like a benchmark. Hello, you don't just sponsor culture, you own it, you redefine it until people think of it as a ritual, they think of you. That's Coke's real Christmas present to all of us, to branding history. Then in 1971, Vietnam War happened. The whole world was divided. Everywhere there's protests, social unrest, people lost trust in government. The mood was pretty down. So what Coke did? They come out with an ad called I Don't Like to Buy the World a Coke. Imagine young people from every continent standing together on a hilltop in Italy, singing like one big family. That was a power move. With war and division all around, Coke decided to sell exact opposite: harmony, peace, inside one bottle. That's genius. They don't just sell drink, they sell the feeling where people desperately crave at the moment. The world felt so broken, and Coke brand itself as the glue. Fast forward to 1995, Coca-Cola Christmas Truck Tour was one of the most highly anticipated events of the year. It's in the UK and the Eastern Europe. People are so hyped about it. Family, kids, communities, they just eagerly track its progress, and they gather just to celebrate its arrival. And in 2011, there's this campaign called Share a Coke campaign. I believe most of us has it. There's this logo that disappears and they print your name on it. This Coke no longer is just a brand, it becomes your Coke. It feels so personalized. In 2013, there's this campaign called Small World Machine. There's this special vending machine placed in Pakistan and also India where strangers across borders have to cooperate just to get one Coke. I think they have to press a button together for that one drink. And because of this cross-wall project, they made so much laughter. This is emotional monopoly. When you think of Christmas, you think of Coke. When you think of peace anthem, you think of Coke. When you think of your own name in a can, that's also Coke. Every time people think of joy, sharing, unity, Coke's already standing there waving, hello, hello. Of course, the brand also took on a lot of impactful risks. Like the new Coke in 1985, they reformulated it becomes disaster. Fans riot about it. Coke had to bring back the old formula. Also about the Olympic sponsorship during some political boycott. In 1980s, Moscow, and 1984, this Los Angeles Olympic had a significant boycott because due to this political tension between the US and Soviet Union. It was risky, but it was cemented with Coke's presence in the world's biggest shared moment. So Coke was genius, not about avoiding mistakes, but turning screw up into legend. You fail, you recover, you own the story. That's branding muscle. And for all the smiles, Coke had also had a lot of scars. Like in Kerala, India, people protest saying Coke drained their village wells dry. Imagine 5 years straight, Coke was crowned world's #1 plastic polluter. Then, sugar problem, obesity, diabetes, tooth decay, even doctors also shake head. Culturally, in some countries, Coke's success wiped out local drinks. It flattened the taste of diversity. Last time, there's so many flavors of life, and now everything tastes like Coke. This is the paradox. The same sweetness that built loyalty also built health crises. But Coke shields it with nostalgia. They keep the guilt in childhood jingles and holidays ad, then sell you Coke Zero, Diet Coke. So you keep the ritual without the shame. Now we all know Coke is more than just a drink. It's like an accessory in history. During Cold War time, every time leaders meet, there's a Coke bottle in a table. Sometimes inside a gift basket. Every pour is like a silent advert. Freedom, democracy, American dream, all in one sip. Then come Hollywood. Stealth mode, I tell you. Product placement actually started long ago in 1927. Okay, there's this movie in Wing where Hershey chocolate sneaks in. But, okay, in 1982, Steven Spielberg, E.T., that movie, that one changed the whole game. Sure, Reese Peace steal the show, but Coke bottles were quietly sitting in the kitchen scenes. Not shouting, not selling, just there. And that's genius. Coke don't always sell to you. Sometimes it's just cam in your memory, rent-free. Fast forward Stranger Things. They never put one can there. They bring back the new Coke from 1985. Last time flop until die. Now they turn into retro pop culture moment. Marketing judo, man. Flip embarrassing moment into nostalgia love. Sports, music, also battlefield. Like FIFA, Olympic, Coachella, even your neighborhood summer camp. Or even concerts. Coke is always there. Why? Simple. Because when people remember crowd roars, your favorite song on festival, there's this red and white can sitting in your photo, your hand, your head. And that's not just product placement. It's memory placement. Coke sneaks in your life and highlight reels. And whenever, anytime you feel the same emotion, your brain auto hand you a Coke. From medicinal tonic to soft drink to cultural unifier to lightning rod of health activism. And now, it's a total beverage company. Today, Coke don't only sell just Coke. They sell sparkling water, sell coffee, sell zero sugar soda, even plant-based smoothie. Now, they also play with AI personalization, AR packaging, blockchain, supply chain, VR pop-up experience, hyper-local flavors launched real-time. Sounds like some tech startup than a soft drink company. Happiness last time was really simple. just sugar and bubbles. But now, happiness have to be redefined because Gen Z don't want diabetes, they want sustainability. They want a brand that dare to stand for something. So Coke's next challenge is to keep the feast alive in the world where people are trying to cut down with the feast. So what can we learn? Coke is more than just a carbonation. It's a ritual, it's an ideology. It's like a red and white scripture in a temple of global capitalism. Great brands don't just sell things, they shape culture. And to shape culture, you need a vision, you need boldness, you need guts to take risks. And history will either crown you or crucify you.